What's good, puckheads? And yes, I know, not the Penguins after tonight. That was absolutely brutal. Though it's a nice shellacking we just took. How are you doing, Nick? Besides the obvious,
Well, I'm smiling, and
are the kids alive? Is the wife still breathing? Did you go
let, let's
Benoit? Did you go
let's throw
Benoit on the family?
let's throw the metrics right out the fucking window tonight, because the Penguins goalies are letting in more goals than vaccines that we're getting in Canada. How about that? There you go.
Yeah,
Right?
it was brutal. It was not,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Mike Matheson obviously feeling himself a little bit. Once that Aaron Fox goal happened and he turned that over, I said, enough of this, bro. Like, enough of this. Like, who does that in your own end? It was just, it wasn't a pretty sight tonight, man. And what's crazy is, obviously, we didn't speak a shellacking into existence, but we said this isn't the same team that they walked all over. And it's one of those, hey, you know what it is? It's the reverse of how we always win. When you look at the box score, you look at the stat line, you're like, how'd they come away with that win? It's, we outshot them tonight 45-25. We won 59-41 in the faceoff circle. The power play was obviously key because they converted every single chance they got. We only converted 1-3. As usual, we got out hit. But they were the one with double digits giveaways, and we stayed in the single digits. And it didn't matter, bro. Couldn't do anything with those chances. Where do we start, Nick?
Well, I think the obvious was the first period, the start. A couple of turnovers early, a couple lucky bounces, and the puck ended up in the Penguins' net. Having 4 goals against in that first period, a lot of similarities to the Boston game on Saturday. Losing position in your own zone, men getting behind different players, defensive positioning was awful. Again, we go back to Thursday after the 4-1 win against the Bruins, and Sully came out on his post conference, and he said that attention to detail, and honestly, like that Penguin team on Thursday, they really played on their toes. They didn't play on their heels. But getting back to the last 2 games and today, what I'm seeing now is, we're playing again that risk and reward type of hockey, and right now it's ending in the back of the Penguins' net. A couple of times there, I think the turning point. Listen, I'm a big fan of Sid. I'm always behind Sid, but if you look at the turning point of this game, if we're looking at the Pens and Pucks turning point of the game, I would say it was that Sid pass in the offensive zone. He tried to force feed that pass. Top of the circle, between top of the circle and the blue line. And again, I've said this many times.
That's yes. two nights in a row where he's force-fed passes that have gone the other way, right, Nick?
Right, exactly. And what happened? They came back 2-0. So attention to detail. Pucks in deep, that same cliche. Cycle the puck, work the D down low. But again, we talked about this the other night, Jordan. You said it. Right, this Ranger team could be dangerous. So, it was not a good night.
They got nothing to lose right now, right? And you say attention to detail, but the only thing that got attention tonight was the twine in our net, bro. Like,
it was.
I expected it to be a tough one. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect for us to score 4 and they double us up.
Ranger speed was obvious today.
The Bruins game, especially after what just happened against the Bruins.
Yeah, a couple of things though that looking into tonight's game, we knew the speed factor was going to be an issue, right? Again, the Penguins in March, they were playing on their toes. That speed factor, we dominated teams that were slower in speed. The Rangers have a young team. They have a lot of forwards that can skate.
Legs always keep moving.
Legs keep moving. Breakout passes. We got some puck, not a lot of puck luck tonight. A couple of, deflections in the net. Tanger's, Kaapo Kakko's goal off Tanger on the power play. But overall, I thought Jari looked really, really rusty. He, right off the bat, that goal that went off of Matheson.
Well, look how long he's been out, right? Too. So.
Yeah, but again, like to me, was that I don't want to question the coaching staff, but again, was it necessary for him to
Yeah,
be
I
in the
agree.
mix tonight?
I agree.
I think you had Sunday and Monday where the Smith had 2 days to rest, and he should have started
Let
tonight.
him ride it out, man.
Yeah, and you have the back-to-back on Thursday. You have Thursday against the Rangers. You have the Devils on Friday. One of the two Jari starts. Maybe you start Jari on Thursday, the Smith on Friday.
That's what I would have done. Now you got a question of who the hell do I start because they both got lit up like a lamp.
Right, exactly. So who starts on Thursday? We were talking offline that Marino-Patterson line defensive duo is just a disaster. Watching the game tonight, my son even said
Now you know why I want a defenseman.
Yeah, so my son said tonight, he said, Marino's gone downhill from last year. He's definitely right.
I agree.
He's digressed from last year.
Buddy, I knew we were up the creek with no paddle when they sent down Freddie Hockey, bro.
Yeah, but they brought him back up.
I know, I'm just joking. That was a bad sign, though. They didn't know what was going on, bro.
Yeah,
and then they bring him right back up.
And I think I've seen enough of the Big Z show, to be honest with you too, Jordan. I think that he made a nice play to Dumo there for the fourth goal, but again,
in garbage time though.
Yeah, garbage time as well. But I was listening to Marc-Andre today, and he interviewed Bob Airy before the game around 4:00 today.
Oh
and,
my God!
Now,
what a duo to listen to, bro. How are your ears not bleeding after that one?
Well, my ears are bleeding listening to Airy because Mark. I was actually agreeing with Madden because he was saying like the physical guys, the bigger guys that we have on this team, the Zoronas, the Angelos, even a guy like Lafferty, for example, right? They're not that. They're big, but they don't play that tough physical game. Like Angelo's played, and that's another question I have for you, Jordan. Today, that fourth line, all of a sudden we're seeing, Freddie Hockey, we're seeing Sevier back in the lineup, and we're seeing Zorona. Like what? Like where Angelo, I thought was,
I'm gonna start calling him Sevier.
Yeah. but looking at that fourth line, you're like, what is going on here? Now, there could be, and we'll talk about it later in the podcast here about different things going on with the Penguins and showcasing different players. But that being said,
wasn't much of a showcase tonight, was it?
Well, listen, Sevier got an assist, buddy. So, hey, he's showcasing, right?
Your Pettersson stock plummeted though.
Tonight. Oh yeah, 100%. What was he tonight? He was -2. So
minus the world, it looked like out there.
Yeah, exactly. Making bad reads, making bad plays. Is this a one-off? I don't know, but
it better be.
But
because you're coming off 2 games in a row. I want you to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 120 minutes of hockey, they've scored 9 goals, which is great, but you've given up 15.
Yeah, it's
think of how many. You would think if I was saying to you, Nick, over the next 2 games, they're going to score 9 goals. All right. You would say, okay, we're going to win one of those games. Right?
100%. I agree with you. And plus,
you might even say we win both those games.
Plus, I'm like, no way we're scoring 9 goals with the lineup we're having because we're missing key guys to the lineup. Right. So even to score 9 goals with this lineup would be crazy to even think of because, again, you can't just rely on that first line. Again, it comes down to getting back to just keeping the game simple. A lot of turnovers in the wrong areas of the ice. Our D zone coverage is brutal. The penalty kill is starting to, take a little bit of a beating here with now Tanev out of the lineup. He's week to week now as of today. With Luke out of the lineup, your 2 best penalty killers, they're out. Now you're starting to see some holes happen. I don't want to go gun, just rapid fire on the Penguins tonight because of the back-to-back losses. But you look around the league, and again, you have, Islanders beating the Capitals 1-0. You have the Bruins beating the Flyers 4-2 tonight. And again, the Bruins have games in hand on us. You have the Rangers again coming up. But listening to like Bob Airy, getting back to that, Jordan, I find it comical that even the guys that work for the Penguins, except for I would say Phil Bourque, always defend this team and always, defend the players on this team. Like, Madden called out Zucker. He called out, the bigger boys to play more of a physical game. And Ari was like, well, I don't believe you need to get that one guy that's going to be physical to beat up Tom Wilson. Bullshit. You need that. You're going to need intimidating players coming to playoffs. Now, it's funny how 2 days ago we have a podcast and we're all happy and we're all talking playoffs. Things can change on a dime here. Like we're talking
like a playoff team tonight.
They're not 2 games in a row. We didn't look like a playoff team, and you're getting back to now looking at the race, looking at the games in hand on Boston. You're looking at the Rangers. They're playing pretty good hockey. If they steal another one on us on Thursday, how does that look? Now, things can, because of this crazy season and how,
and the schedule being in division.
Right, exactly. Things can happen. You can be in and out in a matter of 10 days. So every 2 points, every game, even if you get it into overtime, they get a point is critical. So it's, giving up 3 for 3 against the Rangers, that Panarin goal, top shelf. You know what? In my lifetime, I've never seen a team with goalies give up that shoulder short side goal blocker side the way the Penguins do. Mm-hmm. It's just unbelievable.
It's been like that since Fleury, though.
Right, exactly. I don't just can't. I'm just it boggles me how that happens. But yeah, it's I'm a little bit concerned. 8 goals against a Ranger team, not really good. So
not good at all.
Yeah.
And then it's just I don't know. Once they got up 3-0, I kind of knew where this was heading, though.
Mm-hmm.
This that back end was a disaster tonight, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Panarin goes out there and has a 4-point game against us. We've talked about Aaron Fox heading into this game, and he goes out and has a 3-point game against us.
Yeah.
Just and the goalie stood on his head a little bit too. Kudos to him. He played pretty well. But just you got to clean that, man. Yeah, never mind winning next games. If you want to talk about the playoffs, you got to clean that up, bro. Like kind of inexcusable the amount of goals they've let in the last 2 games, man. And if it keeps trending this way and we don't make the playoffs, it's going to be Sully's ass, bro. Because you know what Hextall and Burke are going to want? They're going to want their guy.
Yeah, I agree with you totally with that. I just don't think I think this is I'm not going to put this one on. I think the goalie decision tonight might have been on Sully for sure. But
and I get that it's on the team, but that's fine. Problem is, you got to light the fire up under their ass.
Right, but to me, the biggest thing,
and again, history tells us this team responds to change.
100%. But with this particular group and what we've seen in March and the way they can play, I really think this got away from them because the leadership team of Sid, and I'm going to put Jake in this as well because he's been there with a cup. I'm not going to say too much about Letang because again, I'm not going to put that on him tonight. I think again he was a -1, I believe. I think it comes down to the forward group and not buying into playing the simple hockey that we've seen them play through the month of March. It really comes down to that, Jordan. You're putting the defenseman in an awkward position when you're making that pass between the top of the circle and the blue line, like I said, and they just got away from it. They didn't dump the puck in, chip it in, go after it, cycle the puck. We saw none of that. They were one and done. They got 45 shots. Yeah, they got 45 shots. And yes, you know what? You had Rodriguez hitting the crossbar on a breakaway. You had Sevier having a semi-breakaway. He didn't even get a shot on that. The Penguins had some quality opportunities where that score could have been 4-3 at some points of that game. But, if you look at a guy like, if you could just go down the roster, you Sevier, Rodriguez, Goudreau, Aston Reese, Jankowski. You take those 4 players and you're like, what? Like, what team is this, right? And then you get down to Jason Zucker. Like I'm sorry, man, but this guy, like
we're gonna talk about it we're gonna talk about his contract every show, aren't we?
Yeah, I just I
But
can't
listen,
believe this
all the
guy.
players you've named, including
Yeah,
Zucker,
yeah,
it's all JR's fingerprints, bro.
right. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Burke and Hextall have to come out here and weed out
Mhm,
what JR put on this team, and it's the position he put us in.
mhm.
This is what happens when you go and you start trading the farm for guys who are with the win now mentality, and you're not even getting A or B plus caliber guys for what you're trading. This is the result. This is literally the result.
It's the result of
Like, look at
you
how the
know.
Blackhawks have, and I'm not saying they're out here world beaters, but look
Mhm,
at how they've churned out the wingers.
mhm.
And they've still had talent. Like, the only bad move they probably made is they brought back Brandon Saad whenever they did that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That was a JR move, but you know what I
yeah.
mean? But other than that, look at the players they've churned out next to Kane and Taves. I'm
No,
just sitting here saying, bro, like, you
yeah.
got to be able to replenish. And the thing is, we haven't replenished well. And now you got a bunch of jabronis because you have no A plus talent in your farm.
Mhm.
Just like that's the reality of the situation.
Right, and the Wilkes-Barre is not loaded with any talent
At
coming up
all.
at all, except for Joseph. He's the only guy we got. We'll talk about the guys in junior, but still they're not up with Wilkes-Barre. But if you look at a guy like Sevier, again traded in the Hornquist trade, you look at Jankowski, a free agent signing. But those
Well,
are
the problem is he
those are hope and prayers, though. You know
Yeah,
what I
but look
mean?
at how
Like,
many of those trades where he got back these guys and he
yeah,
whiffed on the players that he
hmm
traded for. Look at this. Sunkfist. I'm not sitting here saying Sunkfist is a game breaker, but
yeah.
that's a good bottom six guy we gave up.
He's your
And
fourth line center. Yeah,
how long did Reeves even
yeah,
last?
yeah.
What was the point of that trade? You know what I mean? What's his face? We talked about it that we gave up Gustafson for.
What's that?
The
Sorry?
guy we gave up Gustafson for.
Brassard.
Brassard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they turn around and they trade him. Now McCann, he's all right. But like, look at everything we gave up to get to Jared McCann.
Yep.
And is Jared McCann even a B player? No. He's a C plus guy. He
Mhm.
might be on the fringe of a B minus guy.
Yeah.
But look at what they gave up to get to that point. That's my whole thing. Look at how many players they gave up to get to that point. Like, you just bad management. Bad management. And you know what? The up
Mhm.
top boys, and you know who I'm talking about, the
Yeah,
man that sips wine and his little buddy there, they allowed it happen, bro. They
yeah.
allowed it to happen. Why? Because that clubhouse mentality. Oh, nothing but a fucking circle jerk, bro. And it got us to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Uh,
And you know what? I would
yeah.
understand Sid's frustration early in the season because I would look around and be like, we went from having the deepest team when we won back to back,
Mhm.
deep from top to bottom, to Sid looking around the bench and saying, I got to play with a bunch of these civs.
And that you know what? You look at the roster today, and I just counted 7 players. That Sid's probably looking down that bench and saying, and "This is the forward group." That like,
Yeah,
what am I?
why are you not a Wilkes-Barre? That's
Yeah,
what like.
exactly. So I'm going to just go through them quickly. So Zorona, Lafferty, Jankowski, Czar, Goudreau, Rodriguez, and Sevier. Like, those are 7 players out of the 12 that dressed in the Penguins lineup today for the forward group
You
that
know what?
realistically should
And
be probably, except for maybe, and you know
usually
what?
want 3 at most. Usually want
Exactly.
3 at most
Right.
to
Right.
fill out the
And
bottom.
right. And you can tell me injuries or whatnot. Like, you're missing Bluger, you're missing Malkin, you're missing Tanev,
But
right?
still,
Kapanen.
yeah, okay, I get that. Okay, Kapanen and Malkin.
Mhm.
Tannen's the bottom 6. Tannen's the bottom 6 guy.
Right.
Luger on any team is a 4th liner. Let's stop
Right.
lying to ourselves right now.
Yeah, 100. I agree with you.
So
I've been saying
that's
that for
what
a
I'm
while.
sitting here saying. You got Malkin and Kapanen 110%, but the
Mhm.
other 2 are bottom 6 guys.
Yep. Yeah, that's Tanef's a guy that, like you said, he's a bottom six player. He brings energy to the team. Same with
Yeah.
Bluger, right? But if you look at a guy like Czar, to me, he just doesn't do enough for me. He's slow on his feet. He's slow on the forecheck.
You're just
You're
leaning
right.
on way too many guys that don't have the ability or the capability to be leaned on. That's the problem.
And then you look at Russ too, as well. We talk about it.
Russ is a bottom six guy, bro.
He's a third line player.
And where's he playing? Jared McCann's a bottom six guy. Where's he playing?
Yeah.
Not bottom six. I want people to realize that still means the third line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying they're all fourth liners, but Russ and Jared McCann should be on the third line. Where by hook and by crook, where are they forced to play?
Well, right now they're forced to play top six because of injuries, but
what are we expecting? So what are you expecting, bro?
Yeah. So did they overachieve in March? Maybe. But see, Jordan, the thing is with me is that, again, coaching a number of teams in the past, right? For me, it's all about the buy-in of what you've been doing well and playing that way, realizing what you have in the lineup and playing to what the lineup can give you. And the Penguins can't get in a shootout because they don't have enough depth right now to be in a shootout. Mm-hmm. So you got to keep those scores, like you said. If
2-1, 3-2, you got to keep it in there.
Yeah, if the Penguins scored 4 goals today, they should be winning 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, right? The Penguins can't score with this lineup 5, 6 goals. They can't do that because
what's crazy is, bro, even when Kapanen and Malkin come back, they can't do it anyways.
Right. So, but this is the thing. They found that magic in the bottle for March, right? And for some reason, Saturday afternoon they brought this other bottle. Today they have another bottle.
You know what it's full of? It's full of that April Fool's juice. That's all it is.
Wow. You know what? 2 big games. That's all I have to say. 2 big games Thursday and Friday. We'll see what happens.
Okay, but now you're in a position to. Well, actually, we'll talk about that in a sec. I'm not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I'll put this in your mind for right now. Now you're Burke and Hextall looking this. What the hell do you do, bro? Like one upgrade ain't fixing this problem, bro. I hate to be the one to spoil that one. You're gonna need at least 2 or 3 trades, brother. We'll get into it though, but you're gonna need at least 2 or 3 trades. I don't care. I'm sticking to my guns. I know it won't happen. You need 2 forward upgrades, and you need a defensive. You need a defenseman in there. You need a top 4D brought in right now, and all that stuff ain't happening. So it's literally right now. I'm that song from Pretty Woman. I'm the king of wishful thinking.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, all right. And I'm quite pretty too. Anyways, all right. So, can't wait for Game 2 on Thursday after watching what happened tonight. Aaron Fox just continues to light up the world. Heading into this game, geez.
Like you said before, Jordan, the big decision is who goes in the net for the Penguins. Is it the Smith? Is it Jari? That's the biggest question for me. Is Bluger in the lineup? He practiced with the main squad the last few days here. Is he ready to go?
How sad is it that we're waiting for Bluger to come back, bro? I want you to think about that for a minute.
But again, I'm thinking about it. But it takes some guys out of the lineup that have to get out of the lineup now.
Oh, I agree.
All right, like
I agree.
I'm not. So it's not the coming of Bluger. It's the going out of somebody else. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to because, it just you look at these minutes tonight. You look at Jank 10 minutes. You look at Gaudreau again 13. You look at Evan Rodriguez. Right, like a bottom 6 player, he's playing 15 minutes. Seavier's playing almost 12 minutes. Come on, that's just ugly. It's just ugly, Jordan. Like these guys playing double-digit minutes. You're going to be in the problems, right?
Shouldn't be playing more than 6.
Yeah,
8 max. If honestly, I really need you.
listen, a guy like Sevier, a guy like Jankowski, even a guy like Lafferty, 5 is like probably the max that you want to see those guys playing at night. Maybe when you get down the stretch and you have a playoff spot, done and you're in the playoffs, then you're going to start stretching those guys some minutes because you don't want to stretch the first 2 lines. But no way am I playing these guys these many minutes. But interesting stat tonight. Like we had, the Rangers had 14 giveaways. We had 6. We just didn't capitalize on it. And then you saw again the power play.
They capitalized on ours, paging Mike Matheson.
Right. Yeah. So big question for me is who's healthy for Thursday? Who starts in net? If I'm Sully, I go back to the Smith. I put Jari in the nets on Friday against the Devils and see what you can get. Listen, you know what? I was on the couch watching this game and I was like, please just don't get 10 because I don't need any of my Philly buddies, texting me right now saying, we put up a 10 spot. So
it's not like they did any better tonight either. So
exactly, but the thing is that, like I said, we were shooting our mouths off. I'm sure all the Penguin fans were, a week ago, right? March was awesome, but now we're 1-2 in April. We've let 15 goals against in 2 games. The wheels seem to be coming off just somewhat right now. The special teams are hurting. Yes, the faceoffs. I think Sid was like on fire in faceoffs tonight. He was 70%. He was lighting up Zibanejad like a Christmas tree tonight in the faceoff dot. Do I call this a must-win on Thursday? Yes, it's a must-win. As crazy as this sounds, because we're going into New Jersey, and again, another barn we don't play well in. Normally, Sid plays really well in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
If you look
so does Malkin too.
Yeah. I put out some numbers today on Instagram for the Rangers. For the Penguins today, and Pittsburgh is 13. Well, going into tonight's game, they were 13-3-3 in their last 19 games against the Rangers, and they were 8-2-2 in their last 12 at Madison Square Gardens, and everything sort of went by the wayside with that tonight. Time to refocus, time to get back at it. We'll see what the lines are in practice tomorrow. I'm sure Sully's not going to have a good night's sleep or the rest of the coaching staff because that was a debacle tonight.
All right. So looking around the East Division right now, obviously the Bruins won tonight over the Flyers. The Islanders shut out the Capitals 1-0 in kind of a gritty, hard fought win. But you look around the East Division and you're kind of setting the stage there. We kind of can't afford to start slipping up because Boston's only 4 points behind us right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that.
And Washington and the Islanders are starting to separate because they're 4 points ahead of us right now. When just a couple of days ago, it was a 3-way tie at 50 heading into that initial Boston game, right? Sorry, into the second Boston game, I believe. So, I mean, you got someone creeping up on your ass, and you got people starting to look at you in the rear view ahead of you, and then hey, there's still some games to play, and the Rangers are only 9 points behind us right now.
Yeah.
You look at this East Division, it's looking less likely unless they get their act together that they're going to get that top seed, brother.
Yeah, it's like you said, the Islanders and the Caps are sort of stretching it out a little bit. They got a 4-point lead now. All 3 teams, the Penguins, the Caps, and the Islanders have 39 games played.
Yeah, and Boston only has 36, so they still got 3 games in the hand on us right now, and they're only 4 points behind. That's not good.
Yeah, and I also mentioned too, Jordan, on Saturday is if things go a little south here with COVID and with teams and whatnot,
winning percentage
is going to be huge here. And you look at the winning percentage of the Caps and the Islanders, they're at 692. Pittsburgh's at 641. Boston's right there at 639. The Rangers are at 539. But if you look at the Boston Bruins, they have still 3 games in hand on us. They have 46 points. If they win all 3 and we lose back-to-back games here and then lose on Friday, this could be a different story where we get back down to 4th. And the one thing that scares me is the Ranger team. Their youth, they're young, they got legs, like you said, they're just playing this to play. Can they get on a good ride here and make a bunch of strings of wins here and go forward with this? Pittsburgh's got to be looking behind, they got to be looking ahead in terms of standings, but definitely looking through the rearview mirror tonight, because things are shaking and baking here. And special teams, we've talked about this the last 3 weeks. We're going backwards here. Penalty kill went backwards tonight. PP went 1 for 3, fine. But there's one big thing that, when I look at the East Division, Jordan, you probably have the standings up there too right now. I have them up. If you look at the Penguins' record, to win in the playoffs, you got to win where?
On the road. Right.
And right now, we're 8, 10, and 1 on the road. We're 2 games under 500, and that is really, really.
And the Capitals are 12-6-2 on the road.
Right. The Islanders are
10-5-3 on the road.
Yeah, the Islanders are 500 on the road. They got an incredible home record at 16-1-2. But these are the things you start to look at as a coaching staff. If you're a big time Penguins fan, you start to get worried about these things, because now this is all about placing yourself in the standings, getting the right fit. If you want to go far or get by that first round, which I think that's been 2017. Do I want to say? No, sorry, 2018. It's the last time we got by the first round. Like crickets, I can hear crickets right now on that. But this is where, if you come 4th, Jordan, if you come 3rd, right, you start in the other team's barn. What happens after that? What happens? You start on the road. You go down 0-2 and you bury yourself already. Like, to me, right now, Pittsburgh has to go for either 1 or 2 in that division. If they don't, you figure you're going to either be playing Washington or you're going to be playing the Islanders. And we both know how we play in Long Island. We both know how we play in Washington. Not good. Not good.
At least we've had the Islanders number a little bit this year.
Right. But that once playoff time comes, Trotzy knows how to coach.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different game. It's going to get tight.
It's going to get tough.
Tough. You're going to have Cizikas with face washes in front of the net, Matt Martin, all these guys. And we saw Tanger in Boston the other day. Marchand got under his skin. He lost it a little bit. What happens? Right? Supposedly Malkin's going to be starting to skate on his own this week. That was reported today. But we'll see where this goes. And like Bob Erie said, on Madden today, he's like, and I know you're rolling your eyes, but
yeah, because I'm waiting for a Steelers quote.
No, because Malkin, like he said, and I agree with him.
Like it's the wild card in the NFL, Mark.
He made one thing that you agree with this too, is that Gino takes a little time to get going, getting those wheels going, right? So how long does he need to get these wheels going before?
I want to know this. Does he call him Matty? Or does he call him Marky? What does he call him? What does he call him?
He calls him Mark. He'd actually.
Wow. No nickname, eh?
I think he's a little nervous when he's on air with him, because he doesn't know what Madden's gonna,
snap.
Give him a GYF. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So, right. But for some reason, Madden calls him Bibbs. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Calls him what?
Bibbs. I don't know if this was a nickname that Harry had with the Penguins back in the day. But anyways, this East Division, Jordan, it's as much as we were like last Thursday night, sipping a beer, nice Coors Light after the game, the 4-1 win against the Bruins. Tonight, I don't know, it doesn't taste as good as it did last Thursday.
Yeah. I guess his full nickname is the Bibster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is there a reason why, or?
Um. Uh. What I can see, I don't know if it's real.
Mm.
Um. Uh.
Can you say it or no?
Okay. Yeah. I found it. Hold on. Give me a sec here. Okay. It comes from something to do with his 1983 with the draft. Hold on, let me look it up. I found it. Okay. The nickname of Bibbs, by the way, comes from his 1983 first round draft status, bonus baby.
Oh, maybe
Abbreviated to Bibbs.
okay. He signed a good bonus then, probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go. So Penguins fans out there, that's why Madden calls him the
Bibbs.
Bibs. Yes.
The Bibster.
The Bibster, right?
All right, let's get into the interesting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I like that too. Come on, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know about talking about an 8-4 loss. So current rumors and rumblings.
Yeah.
Hall was scratched for the Sabres tonight against the Devils.
Yeah. Same with Palmieri. Palmieri was scratched today too. So you had Hall and Palmieri scratched on both teams. There is reports that Hall will be traded by the weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, he will be traded by the weekend. This is
What
not going
teams
to
are
come.
you hearing?
Well, the scary thing is there's a couple of there's an Eastern team,
The
couple of Eastern teams,
Bruins. The
the
Bruins, right?
Bruins, the Leafs, and they're also talking the Oilers as well. So you're talking about
Dubas came out and said they might not get a winger because of the play of Alex Galchenyuk, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
Okay. All right. So I think I saw Alex at the local rink here the other day, right? Just practicing, signing up for the A division. But no, listen. Dubas is just playing his cards, keeping them close. There's no way. Like, listen, you want to have Alex as a backup in case somebody goes down to throw in on a third or fourth line. Yeah, but if you're telling me that they're going to go into the playoffs with him being a top six, I don't believe it. But
So who are you hearing with back to Hall for a sec? Who are you hearing with Hall? Just the Bruins and the Leafs, really?
Yeah, really just the Bruins and the Leafs, and the Oilers, and with Taylor
We got to
Hall.
make I know we're not going to get him, but make a power move, man.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at a couple guys. Alex Ifello. His name has been put out on the trade market from the Kings. He's another guy that you know. Would I go after him? No. He's not the biggest guy. He can grind it out a little bit. Give you a little bit of offense. I wouldn't see that. The big name for defense right now that everybody's talking about is David Savard, the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's the guy that people are really saying that he's top 10 on the trade bait right now for that. Another big name that was talked about today was Josh Manson of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I am a fan of his. He plays with grit. He's got some, he's really defensively skilled. He's got some offense to him. But again, for the Penguins to do that, they're going to have to unload some money here. And we talked about this before. Who can they unload to get those type of players with some heavy salary? Really, you're looking at guys like Pettersson. Dumo's not going anywhere. Is it a Jason Zucker? I can't see them trading him. Elliot Friedman's reporting that Scott Lawton of the Philadelphia Flyers is on the Penguins list.
Yeah, because I know Hextall. He met with
he drafted him, right?
He met with that chick from NHL.com, and he said he's trying to add a physical winger to this lineup.
Yeah, but is he the physical guy that you really think that that can bring it? You have Gallagher now that has a fractured right thumb that Are the Montreal Canadiens going to be looking to add a winger to their team? You're looking at guys like Jake DeBrusk that are on the trade wire right now. A lot of different names out there.
I saw Luke Glendenning's name come out again.
Yeah.
Lawson Cruz from Arizona. Miles Woods from New Jersey was another name I saw. I'm just trying to think who else. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. You're also looking at guys like, Hall has been talked about. We talked about him. You're talking about Granlund. Guys like that. Interesting, like you said, Palmieri was scratched. Hall was scratched tonight. Those guys are probably the big fish right now in the pond. And as crazy as that sounds, I don't see Pittsburgh going after any of them. Just bringing up my list here. Just give me 1 second.
What would you think about getting a guy like Miles Wood?
Miles Wood?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Listen, I take him in a heartbeat. I think Miles Wood would be a great addition. He's a big body. He drives the net.
He's fast. He's fast.
He's got a lot of good tools. I really like what he brings to the team. Right. So anyways, so topping the list right now, you have David Savard, Kyle Palmieri, you have Taylor Hall, right? Another guy that the Penguins sort of, I've read some rumors are kicking some tires on, are a guy like Nick Foligno of Columbus, right? Like you said, Luke Glendening, Michael Granlund. Again, I would stay away from him. That's not the fit we need. An interesting name that came out, we talked about it the other day, was Anthony Mantha from the Red Wings. Like I said, Josh Manson, Goligoski, Vince Dunn.
No. He is not coming back here, bro.
I'm not saying, but these are some of the names, bigger names that are out there right now.
Big name.
Ryan Dzingel. He's a guy that I would sort of look at. Maybe a guy that you might want to plug on if you can put him on a fourth line. He's definitely an upgrade than what we have. The interesting thing is, what do you think about if I throw this name at you, Jordan, for defense? Mark Stahl.
4 or 5 years ago, I would have been all in.
He's 34. He's 34 years old.
Wow, I'm old. That makes me feel old right now.
Yeah.
I remember when he came in.
Yeah.
If the price is right.
Yeah. So him.
And is a solid defensive guy. I'm not looking for offensive flair here.
Right. Another guy that's been sort of talked about, maybe coming back to the Penguins, is Jamie Olesniak. But again, like he's a guy that is a big body, but doesn't play to his size, and really he can't fight. He got knocked out. Who did he get? He got knocked out when he was playing for the Penguins. I can't remember who it was, who he fought, but it was ugly. And then you look at a guy like that we talked about the other day is Sam Bennett, right? He, to me, if I'm putting a list together for the Penguins, right? If you're looking at forwards, and then we'll talk about a D, and I'm just being realistic here, like, because you can't go over the top because of salary restrictions or whatnot. The guy, and what I'm looking at, and we talked about this at the beginning of our podcast way before, is guys that are going to be UFAs or don't have a lot of term, and maybe if things don't go right, you trade them in the off season. But a guy like Nick Foligno, a guy like Sam Bennett, a guy like if you're looking at maybe long term, a little bit more long term, because Josh Manson has a year, I think, and a little bit on his term. He's 29 years old. Even a guy like Brandon Monitor from the Sabres, good puck moving defenseman. He could probably play. He reminds me of like what's his name?
Tom Wilson, who knocked him out, by the way.
Sorry, it's Tom Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Monitor reminds me of Montour. Reminds me of what's his name? Trevor Daley, that played for the Pens. solid skater, puck moving defenseman, a little bit of
One of
grit.
the worst decisions we ever made was not bringing him back.
Yeah, right. That you know what? If you go back to that after that 2017 Cup, there was a lot of bad decisions that JR made. Letting go of Kunitz, Daly, even a guy like the big guy there, 65. On the Ron Hainsey.
Oh yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, there was some guys there that you could have just kept on for maybe one more year, made some extensions. But going back to I think there's going to be a little tweaks. But let me ask you something. And we're going to get into this in the next little bit here. But I'm going to ask you this: if you're Birkin, if you're Hextall Jordan right now, after this game and after Saturday's game, there's a question here. Are you going all in?
That's what I asked earlier. What do you do?
Are you going all in, or are you going to say, hey, I'm going to sit back.
Ride it out?
Ride it out. This is JR's team, right? We make the playoffs, right? Great. But now the offseason it's our team.
This is exactly what I asked you earlier when we were talking about the Rangers game.
Yeah.
Now Burke and Hextall, after these last few games, are in a position of what do you do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you do? You're the GM. Put your GM hat on. What would you do? You've seen the best of this team, and you've seen, let's say this. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
Berkey and Hextall Jordan they've seen the best of this team since their tenure here. They really haven't seen this the last two games. Ever since they came here, everybody started to play a little better. Systems came into play. The team's been playing the right way, like Sully says. Now we've seen over the last 5 days a little bit of a bender here.
A dip, yeah.
A dip. What do you do? What do you do?
The issue is the way they were playing in March even had you whispering the words cup contender.
Yeah.
And I think we're 2 top 6 additions and a defenseman away from being able to make a legit run. It's all about the price on the market, how the market plays out. You're not going to get into a bidding war with a guy like Taylor Hall. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we don't need bottom 6 guys. We need guys who can contribute at the top if they need to get boosted up.
So I'm gonna play a devil's advocate here with you. Okay. So I agree with you with top 6. Now, if I were to say to you, okay, top 6, one top 6, one bottom
and one
6,
third line,
one bottom 6.
Okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
Tell me this.
Yeah.
One top 6, and is it one top 9 or is it one top 12? Because if it's a top 9,
yeah,
that's a different play than adding a fourth line jabroni.
Say one top 6, one top 9, and then not that you're getting a top 4 defenseman, but an upgrade of what you have now.
Then yeah, I'd do that.
Okay, so if you're Berkey, let's be realistic here.
Okay.
Let's
start with this though.
Yeah,
Name me the top 6 forwards that you are hearing are on the market right now. Obviously Palmieri, obviously Taylor Hall. Who else? Because the market's pretty freaking thin. That's the thing.
Okay, so I'm going to say there's right now, if you're going to say top 6, you probably for forward wise, you have Palmieri and you have Hall.
That's it.
That's it. But hold on a sec here. Okay. But if you look at doing something like this, it was where, okay, so I think this Rust, Getzel, Crosby line, to me, if I'm Sully, you need to get Zucker going here. You really because we've seen sample size with him and Sid, and Zucker was putting some goals in. Okay, right? So what I would do with that is you take Rust off that first line, you put Zucker there, okay, and you give him an ample opportunity. Things don't work out, then you know what? Off season, okay, get rid of that 5.5, right? Then you have if Malkin comes back, you have Malkin
Kapanen
Kapanen,
and
okay,
Rust.
and Rust. Or you put McCann there, okay, right? Then you have Bluger, you have McCann, you have Tanev, right? Then you have the option of Freddie Gaudreau at center, and you need to upgrade those two wingers. To me, Czar, like if you can replace Czar, you do that. And you do it fast. And this is where, to me, like I honestly think, and all the Penguin fans out there, I honestly think this is going to go one of two ways. You're going to see them make 1 to 2 deals, or maybe one, but I really think there's not going to be a lot. I think that this is going to be, okay, boys, let's see what you can do. Sully, let's see what you can do with this group. This is sort of maybe the group that Sully and JR talked about, what they wanted. Let it ride.
I'd like to be the crack pipe in that room that was smoked.
but realistically, so we can get to the next segment here, right? And we can have a conversation about this. Okay. So
and this is the Penguins trade game, yes or no?
Yes, right? So this is the Penguins trade game, yes or no. So I'm gonna say a player, and you say yes or no, trade him. Okay? Right? So Sevier.
Yes.
Okay. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Gaudreau.
No.
Czar.
Yes.
Jankowski.
Yes. Where do I sign?
Zucker.
Yes, if you can, for a good return.
Lafferty.
Yes. Even though he's the fastest player on the team. Yes. Yes, McCann, I would trade too. Yeah.
Getzel, no, right?
No. Rust, I would trade in the right deal.
Okay, Rust, okay. We talked about Lafferty, McCann, Getzel, no. Zorona. Yes.
I'll drive him to the airport, brother.
Okay. We all know no to 87, no to 71.
No to 59. Yeah, and no to 42.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On the back end, we have Cody Ceci.
Do I want? No, actually, you're right. His play this year's been good. I'm keeping him.
Yeah. Again, check this out. Okay. And I don't want people to think I love this guy. He's my guy, Cody Ceci. But
Bobby.
Hey, the Bobby, the real Bobby. 8 goals against. Mr. Cody Ceci was a +1.
Yeah, no, I keep him, Cody.
Okay. Matheson.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. John Marino.
Yeah.
You keep him?
No. I trade him.
Trade him? Okay.
Right. Based off, and I try to sell some team on what he was last year.
Yeah. Dumo?
No.
Okay. Patterson?
Yes. Can I get a bag of pucks?
Okay. Letang? Let's just say now you're not going to. They're okay.
It's no and yes.
Okay.
It's yes if it's the really right deal.
Okay. So looking at all these players we talked about, so Sevier makes over 1 million. Okay. So you got, let's say, I think it's 1.2 he's got, I believe 1.2. Okay.
Dude, that guy, all he needs is a mask and a gun, and he's coming like legit robbery, bro.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you have Rodriguez. Okay. He makes like, $795. Right. Okay. So you're up around, 2 million there. Okay. Czar, what does Czar make?
Too much.
What does he make, Czar?
I don't know what he makes. I don't know what he makes.
Let's check right now.
Here, I'll look right now.
Okay.
He makes he has a base salary of $1 million.
Okay, $1 million. So you got $1 million, right? So right now you're at 2.9, right? You got Jank again, probably like 795. Okay, so you're over 3 million. You got Zucker 5.5. That's where you get into like that 7-8 million now. Okay. Zorona, again, minimum league, 700,000-800,000. You have Matheson, so 5.5 or 4.5, I believe he makes.
What?
Matheson? What does he make?
Oh, no, I'm not arguing you. I'm like, Jesus Lord.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know how much he made?
I never even thought to look into it.
Yeah, he makes like 5.5 or something.
Yeah, it makes 4.875.
Yeah, okay. 4.875. Then you have Pedersen, I think he makes 4.5. What does he make? He makes 4 million. 4 million. Okay.
Bro, so we're at like almost 16 million right now. 17 million.
Right. So really to get anything done, the chips that you need to play, right, are Zucker, Pedersen, Matheson,
Marino,
and Sevier, if you just want to throw him in there just because he makes over $1 million, right? So if you want to really,
can I ask you this though?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this earlier.
Mhm.
Yes or no? we don't have the assets to make a move for one of those top 6 forwards you named.
On the trade bait list,
Yeah.
you're saying?
Because I'm sorry, if you could make it happen, I would actually want Kyle Palmieri over Taylor Hall.
100%. I'm on board with that.
But we don't have the assets, right?
You have to. You're
gonna be trading draft picks,
and they're not going to do that. They've already said that, right?
Who's already said that? Oh yeah, the Penguins. Yeah.
Yeah, Berkey and Hexel have already said that they're not going to give up picks for this. So what I would say is, if you're looking at, if you're getting a Palmieri, you might have to deal a Pedersen, but I think you're going to have to give up Marino.
Okay,
that's what you're going to have to give up, right?
Let's go. You want Seaver too?
Yeah. So yes or no? Do the Penguins trade Zucker?
No.
Did they trade Pedersen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Matheson.
It's been so streaky since they've been here.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with yes to get that off the Bucks.
Okay. Marino.
Who have I said yes to so far?
Pedersen and Matheson.
No, they won't because we've already traded 2 defensemen.
Okay. And Sevier will say yes. Okay.
Yes. We'll pray.
All right. So basically, those 3 things that you want the team to upgrade in, you have basically 2 chips to play with right now if you're Berkey and Hextall. And that's the tough thing about upgrading this team now going forward is you don't have many chips to play with, and it's unfortunate we don't have anything in the cupboard with youth. We're not going to trade any picks. It's got to be somebody off our roster, so it's got to be somebody that's again, like in a contract negotiation, like Palmieri.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Rust and Pedersen and a draft pick for Palmieri. You doing that?
No. No. You're sort of then you're taking a couple steps backwards here, because again you have to look at, okay, so who's gonna come fill in for Pedersen? Friedman?
Well, or you bring up Olivier Joseph.
Joseph, right? Now, am I okay with trading Pedersen and maybe you throw in a guy like Zorona for Palmieri? Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Well, right? Obviously, who wouldn't be? But I don't think they would.
But they're going to lose him in the offseason. This is where you can sort of
squeeze.
Play with that. Squeeze, right? You look at, okay, so do the Devils need to upgrade their defense? Maybe they do, right? So Pedersen's young. If they look at 4.5 at being or $4 million being a decent contract, maybe they take a look at him.
Would you trade Pedersen for Getzlaf?
Oh, in a heartbeat, yeah. But I don't see them doing that because that's where we got Pedersen from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless this is a different coaching staff. It's the
Or would
same.
you trade Matheson for him?
Oh, yeah. I would. Again, I think, and this is the only reason why I'm saying that is because you have Joseph that's waiting in the wings, and I still want to see this Friedman kid play. I want to see him play. I think his intangibles for the playoffs might be something we need. That grit. The only problem with him is he's a smaller body. You saw him play those couple games against Philly. He did get tossed around like a rag doll a couple times, right? So listen, well, if I'm the GM and I'm looking at this team and I'm saying, okay, and I'm the new GM, got my new nice office, I'm saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with what I have with the top six right now when we're healthy. I think the top six is decent. Will I bring in a guy like Nick Foligno, Scotty Lawton, to because this is when you look at the Penguins, Jordan, you look at their bottom six. They don't okay. You look at today, right? And you had what? Who did you have goals by? You had goals by McCann. You had goals by Getzel. Who else scored today? Getzel, McCann, and who else scored?
Well, the fourth goal came from
Dumo scored. Yeah, okay. But if you look on to win in these playoffs, you need those third and fourth lines to contribute defensively and to score. You really do, right? So if you get a guy like Scotty Lawton, he's got some offensive flair. Nick Foligno sort of got a little bit of flair to him. He's a guy that's going to go.
He's got leadership, and he's got
leadership, right? I really don't like. We talked about what's his name, Matt Duchene, and even Taylor Hall. They don't win, right? They're not guys that win. Am I scared if Taylor Hall goes to Boston? No way. The guy's got 2 goals this year, and he's never won, right? He's been on losing teams majority of his life, right?
I just think Palmieri would be perfect for this team.
He would.
And I'd re-up him.
Then maybe, you know what? How about a Jason Zucker for Kyle Palmieri?
I'd do that.
How about it? Or you do Pedersen and Zucker? I would do that.
I'd do that. Yeah,
I would do that.
Because then you can just kick your Friedman boy into the lineup, and Zucker's replaced by Palmieri.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But again, the question is on Monday, April 12th, Jordan, are the Penguins active? Yes or no?
I think you're right. I think they make around 2 trades.
Yeah.
I think they upgrade the bottom 6. I don't know if they add a defensive piece. That's the thing I don't think they do.
It all depends if you can do a defenseman for a defenseman deal, maybe they do that, right? But it's going to be it's really intriguing this year because since Rutherford came in, we knew we were going to be players at the trade deadline, right? Some way, somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this year we don't know. All the Pittsburgh outlets, they're the media outlets, they're all saying they figured that Hextall and Berkey would have already made a trade, put a little bit of their stamp on the team, and they're just waiting. They're waiting. I have a feeling, Jordan, that this team here, you'll see maybe one move on Monday or one before Monday, and it's going to be JR's team to win it or lose it.
And then just blow it up and start blowing it up.
And then start blowing it up, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yep. And we'll be live during the trade deadline from 12 to 3, right?
Yep.
So, all right, let's take a look around the NHL tonight. Obviously, we already talked about the fact that the Islanders and the Bruins won tonight. When you go and look around the rest of the NHL tonight, obviously we got shellacked by the Rangers 8-4, so we don't need to talk about that very much more. You had the Carolina Hurricanes.
They're your team, buddy. They're your team.
Yeah.
Right?
I love me some Sebastian Aho, bro.
Yeah.
they won 5-2. Obviously, Vancouver, they're still dealing with the COVID outbreak right now. So that game was delayed against the Jets. The Blue Jackets beat the Lightning 4-2. The Sabres won tonight 5-3 over the Devils. The Blackhawks won 4-2 over the Stars. The Predators win again in a shootout over the Red Wings 3-2. And the Anaheim Ducks are currently up 1-0 at the end of the first over the San Jose Sharks, which I'm sure Nick will be up late watching after we're done here.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the games tonight?
Really, again, if you're looking at the Central Division, that race for top spot, Carolina, Florida, Tampa, Hawks come up with a big win tonight. They were sort of trending downward. They stay 2 points behind Nashville for that 4th spot. Columbus gets a big win, again, staying alive in that playoff race for 4th. Then you're looking at our division. We already talked about that. That's sort of in the books tonight. But then you got that. One of the interesting stories in the NHL right now are the St. Louis Blues. I heard on the radio today again. Is Doug Armstrong going to be a seller? Right. Right now,
do you go back and knock on the door for a guy like Sundqvist?
How about a guy like a rumor name out there, Tyler Bozak? Phil's not here, but they couldn't reunite. But they're talking about being sellers right now. Currently, they're 6th in the West Division with 38 points. They're 5 points behind Arizona for 43 points. So big game for San Jose today. They win tonight. They'll be 3 points behind Arizona with a couple games in hand. So you're looking at that division there. We talked about the Central. The Rocket Richard race is definitely on. But the interesting about that Richard race, listening to Overdrive today, is what happens with the Rocket Richard and all these trophies, Jordan. If some players get shorted the 56 games, right? So you look at Connor McDavid, for example. Matthews is pulling away a little bit in terms of goals, right? But McDavid, I think, was supposed to play the Canucks a couple of times over the last 5 days, right? But because they're shut down because of COVID, now he's games behind in terms of going after that Rocket, right? So crazy year. It'll be interesting. Is it going to come down to winning percentage, trade deadline? Are there going to be a lot of trades? There might be a lot of trades over the weekend. Quarantine's going to come into play this year. It's just a wild and crazy year. But you know what? The hockey's been fantastic. It's keeping everybody on their toes. It's been fun.
Yep. All right. So let's get in. And you got any final thoughts before we get out of here, Nick?
No, bottom line is that
win.
Win. And you know what? Thursday night, big game. We were talking last Thursday. We were all happy, like I said, joyous with the month of March. And now, big weekend coming up against last game against the Rangers, the Devils, and win.
Win. All right, brother. So it looks like we'll probably be back this weekend, and then we'll be back on Monday for the trade deadline. We'll go for 3 hours, a little bit over 3 hours, because we're obviously talking about any deals that happen, because they'll be trickling in after 3 o'clock too. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see, not just for the Penguins, but where some of these names are going to land. It's going to be super interesting. So we'll see. Because you know what, you might be right, bro. They might say ride it out. We might add a depth piece, and then this summer is when we'll get to work. So we'll see how it all winds up. It's 6 days away, right? So
you got it.
All right, until next time, I hope everyone stays happy, healthy, safe, and blessed, and have a good night, puckheads.